When Universal decided to get back into the Western game in 1932, they wanted a big-name actor to mark their return. Who better than Tom Mix? Mix was given almost complete creative control over these films, and his old cameraman, Daniel B. Clark, was brought on by the studio to photograph them. This film anticipates the growing tendency of the genre toward fantasy in the sound era. The plot, taking place in a fictional country and featuring a young monarch in a castle complete with a dungeon and a death trap, feels like it could be ripped out of a comic book or a pulp magazine story. Mix plays Tom Reed, whose traveling Wild West show entrances King Charles V of Alvonia, played by a young Mickey Rooney. James Kirkwood's Count DeMar, who has been manipulating the young monarch, wants him to sign a new, oppressive tax bill.
Cannot be trifled with. There must be some reason for your lack of interest in an issue that should be so important to your Majesty and to all of us.
There's something
Yes,
more.
sir. That's what I'd do. Treat everybody right. Use my position to help the people.
That's a wonderful idea, Tom. I'll do it.
Then you'd be admired and respected.
When Tom is invited to the palace, he instills in Charles an appreciation for good old American values, and the king decides to oppose his advisors.
What I want to say is life, liberty, and happiness for all my people. Isn't it a great idea?
In order to maintain his grip on power, DeMar kidnaps the king and plans to depose him, so it's up to Tom and his cowboys to save the day.
He went riding in the Grunwald with Dr. Lorenz and 2 grooms, and he hasn't returned yet. I know something's happened to him. I know it.
Well, don't you worry.
Hey! Go! Hey, go! Go! Hey! Get everybody man mounted here. Get ready for a fight.
I'll bet you get mighty lonesome sitting up here all by yourself.
Lonesome. Why, Tom, you said a big mouthful.
You're okay, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, that means that you're all right.
Oh!
Tom feels right at home in his sound pictures, and his frank, down-to-earth personality works really well in this film, especially as it's contrasted with the vain and duplicitous attitude of Charles' royal advisors.
To meet my good friend, Tom Reed.
Glad to meet you, man.
In many ways, Charles is really the main character in this film, and Mickey Rooney does a good job in the role, especially considering his young age.
Remember, you are a king.
That's right. You can let me down. I'll be all right.
The film was made very economically, and was shot in just 12 days. The filmmakers made the best of their limited budget, however, utilizing the cathedral exterior built for the 1923 version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and lots of footage from Mix's Wild West show, which is great fun. The action is saved for the climax, which is pretty thrilling, with the king and his loyal tutor trapped in the dungeon, which is filling with water, as Tom and the cowboys ride to the rescue. Tony had retired by this point, and so Tom rides Tony Jr. ahead of the gang and sneaks into the castle the back way while his men attack the fortress head-on. Director Kurt Newman, who would later helm many of Sol Lesser's Tarzan movies for RKO, handles the action with a deft hand. Though it's not as impressive as some of his silent features for Fox, My Pal the King is still one of Biggs' most flat-out entertaining pictures.
Get your rope down. Get it on this thing. Let's pull it down. Okay.
Hang up! You wanted to see the king, did you? Well, I'll show you the king. There he is. Down there. Look.
The actor was a consummate entertainer, and there may be no better example of that than this film.
It must be a great privilege to live so deeply in the hearts of all the world's boys and girls.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it while I'm doing it.
That's the nicest thing I ever heard anyone say.